Segments in Spotify for Artists breaks down who makes up your audience, how often they're listening to your music, and how they're streaming, which is useful information when it comes to building a long-lasting fan base. There's a lot to wrap your head around, so to help you understand how we segment your audience, we'll follow one listener on their journey to become a superfan. This is a Spotify listener. Right now, she's streaming New Zealand-based Persian artist Chai for the first time ever on her Discover Weekly playlist. By streaming from a program source like a Spotify-made playlist, she's joining Chai's programmed audience. Programming is a great way to get exposure to a whole new set of listeners who can potentially become fans, so Chai should be keeping an eye on this group. The Spotify listener liked the song in Discover Weekly, which saves it to her library. So when she goes back to her library, actively choosing to replay Chai's song, she joins her active audience. And that's a good thing, because your active audience is where the magic happens. On average, listeners in your active audience will stream an artist's music 4 times more in the next 6 months than other listeners. And remember, active audience in Spotify for Artists is measured over the past 28 days, while the programmed audience covers the past 2 years. The listener then continues to actively stream more of Chai's music, moving from being a light to a moderate and then to a super listener. Over time, our listener moves on to other music and hasn't actively streamed Chai in the past month, which means she moves into the previously active audience. But the good news is she doesn't stay there forever. When Chai drops a new album, the Spotify listener has never been more excited to jump back into actively streaming from her artist profile. Now where's the listener? You guessed it, she's found her way back to the active audience. Each segment represents different levels of engagement that listeners will cycle through and provides you with insights and opportunities to focus your release marketing strategy. On the segments page in Spotify for Artists, you can see the size of each segment, how many streams each one contributed in the past 28 days, and how your listener segments are changing over time. Segments in Spotify for Artists give you a complete view of your audience, helping you measure how well you're growing an engaged fan base, how much of your audience has the potential to grow through programming, or should be re-engaged when the time is right. Start using segments to target your marketing and get feedback on how your releases are growing your audience today.